Hi, I'm Apollonia. You may remember me from Purple Rain as leading lady to Prince, or from my band Apollonia 6. I've starred in films, TV shows, and I've been on the cover of magazines all over the world, including Playboy. I was also an LA Rams cheerleader. I'm going to take you with me. Welcome to my podcast, Apollonia Studio 6. Hi, I'm Apollonia, and welcome to my podcast, Apollonia Studio 6. And I have my co-host here, Mr. Seth.
Yes.
Welcome, Mr. Seth.
Thank you. And I want to welcome everybody to Apollonia Studio 6. And most of all, I want to welcome the multi-talented, beautiful, and iconic Susannah Melvoin.
Yes. Woohoo!
Quite the intro, gang.
Thank you, Susannah.
Thank you for having me. Both of you, thank you. As I've mentioned, COVID's been nuts, and it's amazing to be here with these fabulous people.
We're honored
breaking
to have
the
you.
COVID isolation. So I'm happy to be here, and thank you for having me.
Are you kidding?
Thank you.
It's
Thank
an
you.
honor.
Thank you for breaking your COVID rule and being here with
I
Yes.
have broken the rules.
us.
But we're all vaxxed and
Yes.
boosted, and we do tests, so we want to make
tested
sure
and
that we're all safe. We
dug
want to
it
make
up.
sure.
Protocols,
Dug up our
COVID
little
protocols were
nose.
stellar here.
Yes.
Just want you to know, anybody who needs to know.
Yes.
Right. We just tell them to bend over, and then we took the test, the swab test. So
We swabbed it all.
yeah, everything. So what a great surprise! I'm so happy that you're here. When was the last time I saw you? Was it before COVID? When did I last see
It was
you?
before COVID. I want to say the last I saw you.
Wiltern? Was it the Wiltern?
No, I think it was Manuela's event.
It was Manuela's. Manuela had a lunch.
Oh,
at
that's
her house,
right, at her
and I was
house.
walking out because
You
I
were
had
leaving.
I had an emergency at home with my kid.
I remember that.
And I was like walking out as you were walking in.
And I was like,
You were like, "No, where are you going?" I was like, "Mom calls."
yeah, that's what she was. I have kid.
I got
was
kids.
like,
I gotta go
no.
back. I was like, "Is there anybody watching them?"
Yeah, I remember I said, get him a babysitter, stay. I was like, where are you leaving?
Yeah.
Yeah, we crossed the front lawn and, she was
Yes, but that was 3 years
3
ago.
years ago.
Oof.
Not good. I
Well,
know.
this last 2 years have been a weird blur. I mean, time is not even gauged in the same way as it
No.
ever has been in the
No.
last 2 years. Literally, it just has gone by in
Weird.
actual weird moments as opposed to
Right.
months or times. It's just like what are we dealing with now, or what happened now, and who have we lost, and
All that.
all that has defined this crazy few years. And
Yeah.
anyway, so that was the last real coherent moment I saw
Yep.
you.
That was it.
Yeah.
And then before that, you were performing at the Wiltern?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was at the Wiltern.
Revolution.
With the Revolution?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's the last time we saw you. I think before that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Did you come to any of the family shows that we had after that? After that particular, we had one.
I don't think we did.
No, no, no. I saw you at the show at Vibrato.
Ah,
Paul had a show at Vibrato, and he asked me to come guest. Didn't you come to that?
I don't know if I did. I was going to go to the one that you were going to have.
No, no, no. You did come, and you came,
Okay.
and so did Ingrid. Ingrid
Oh,
came,
really?
and so did Manuela.
Really? I don't know if I was there.
I think I have a picture of us.
Really? Find it. Because if I was there, I'm 62 and I forget to put on my bras sometimes. Really?
You were there. It's okay.
Oh. See,
okay that you
Ingrid,
didn't-
did I ever meet her? See, I don't think I've ever met Ingrid.
Maybe I've got it wrong.
Yeah.
I thought you were there.
No.
Okay, well, how old are we together? All together, we could put those numbers together and then put us to rest for sure. So I don't know.
Somebody pull up my wheelchair. My walker.
Oh my gosh.
Wow. So, yeah.
Well, you're in my cells. I do remember you in all sorts of ways.
Anyhow, I'm going back to, this whole COVID thing. And I know that you said you're a homebody. You like to stay at home.
I do.
So-
I'm not a. Well, I don't, let's put it this way. I don't risk
Yeah.
the possibility of
Right.
getting it
Right.
or giving it.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I just don't want to go down that road. And I've been fortunate enough in some respects, to stay home because I've got these kids at home. So
Right.
Yeah.
to make sure that they're cool and everybody's good.
Mm-hmm.
And so, yeah, but I'm not super social to begin with. You would think I was, but I'm kind of not. I'm
Have
a
you
little
always been
shy.
like that, you think? Or
Yes.
nowadays, maybe? Or
No,
even
more so now, but I've always been that way. I appear to be much more social than I am.
introvert?
I am an introvert.
I've been reading about that. Introvert.
Have you been?
Yeah.
Me, particularly?
No, just for myself too, because
Oh, no.
you know, it's just sometimes I feel like it's like, oh, there's an event to go, and then I find myself saying, God, I can't wait till I get home.
Yeah. Oh,
You
that's
know?
me too.
Right.
The hair and makeup, and I just can't wait to get home. And I know they're fun events, and it's exciting. We get out, we get dressed up, do red carpets, and I can't wait to get home.
Yeah, well, see, I actually prefer a really good night's sleep
Yeah.
because I know this is incredibly boring,
No,
but
we want to hear it all.
sleep is really good.
It sure is.
And I have always been a good sleeper, and I've always cherished it.
Have you found? Okay, now I'm about to age myself there. Have you found that as you get older, it gets harder, or have you always been a good sleeper?
I've always been an unbelievable sleeper.
Ooh,
Since I was a kid in the studios, I'd go to my father's, monitors could be blasting music, and I would be asleep on the couch.
Ooh, I
No
used to do that. I
way.
used to be good at doing that too. I could sleep in that studio.
I can nap anywhere. I'm a great nap. I just can well, not always. I mean, that's years of meditation, but I can shut things off.
Wow,
And go
that's
to
what a
sleep.
gift.
That's good.
And I'm like insomniac. I slept last night. Well, I was excited about the show. I got like 4 hours, probably 5 hours a day before, 6 hours a day before.
No, that kind of stuff to definitely happen. Like if you're excited about an event or things
Yeah.
like that, that will definitely keep the adrenaline up, and I'll
I'm
wake up.
I'm a professional insomniac though, and it's not fun. So now I do gummies, cannabis gummies to help me go to
sure.
sleep.
Sure.
You know?
CBD,
Yep.
CBN,
CBD, CBN, cannabis.
I do
Cannabis
Ambien.
drops.
fantastic.
You do Ambien? Ambien.
Well, that'll work too. So
I
will
do a
Jack
half.
Daniels.
I do a half.
That scares me though.
I do a half.
But be careful with that stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just
exactly.
a half.
Yeah.
Just a half. Yeah.
But anyhow, no sleep.
Every
but-
once in a while,
So
Yeah.
if I have to take the edge off.
what was your day like today? Indoors. How do you start your day?
No, actually,
I wanna
not
know.
indoors. Not indoors. I was at somebody's, well, mostly indoors. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
Mostly indoors. Kids going to schools.
Yeah.
But today was Saturday. There was, just mommy stuff.
Oh,
Mommy stuff.
Just
Okay.
mom stuff,
Just good mommy
like
stuff.
I am the most important thing in my life are my children.
Yeah.
And so the priority is them
right.
so much of the time before me. So I wake up super early in the morning so that I can get my thing done. I have a ritual that I do in the morning with my matcha tea and my moment alone and do that. But then within an hour or two, then the little ones who are not little,
Yeah.
17 and 20, but they're still my ducklings.
They're
They come
babies
wandering
still.
down into the kitchen and they wonder what's going on.
Yeah.
And
Oh,
then
my
of course
goodness.
I'm like, what are you guys doing today?
Right.
And then
17 and 20.
It's managing their lives and then mine. So
Yeah.
there's just stuff, and then so your big sister, so I'm going to tell you some really interesting things now. My oldest one, they share a bathroom upstairs. Oh, I can't believe I'm even talking about this, but okay.
Please, I want to know.
So they share a bathroom. So the older one cleaned the bathroom.
Okay.
She was like, it's my turn to clean the bathroom. So I said, great, fantastic. The little one's going to clean my bathroom.
Okay.
She needs a chore.
Yeah.
So I text her because I'm out and I'm like, I need you to do me a favor. Come on, babe, solid. Your sister cleaned the upstairs bathroom. It's your turn to clean mine. No problem, Mom. I have no problem. I get home from my stuff. Bathroom's spanking clean. I'm like, wow.
Wow.
My older one comes in. She goes, do you like your bathroom? And I was like, what do you mean? She goes, I cleaned it. And I said, what? Your sister was supposed to clean it. Yeah, well, she ended up doing something and then asked me to clean it. And of course, I'm like, thank you. I really appreciate that. But that wasn't the point. The point was to have your sister have a chore. And so I'm texting her little sister saying, how could you, like, you got away with that? Like, how did you can't do that to your big sister. And then the big sister says to me, just didn't think it was fair that you had a dirty bathroom. And she said she'd clean it. So I wanted to clean it for you. And I was like, oh, this kid. I gave her a big kiss. But then, of course, my younger one was on my shit list. I was like, okay, you know, I've had it with you. I was like, I was like, that wasn't the point that your sister did it. It's clean, isn't it? I was like, that's not the point. That's not the point.
Wow.
I asked you to do it. Anyway, so that was my day.
Family dynamic.
I mean, there's just, there's like, you know, and then I'm like, I'm leaving tonight. I have somewhere important to go to. You said you know, it's just like that. But so there's that, you know, the dynamic of like how to like navigate your children and make sure that everyone feels like they're holding their weight.
Yeah.
You know, it's just me and my kids. Like I've raised these kids and I need these girls to be capable
Right.
with tool belts,
Yeah.
emotional ones and physical ones that they can use, you know, like, and that part of doing that is knowing how to clean your bathroom.
Yeah.
Right, exactly.
Even when you don't want to do it.
Even when you don't want to do it. That's right.
So the little one lost the plot on that one,
Man.
but
So-
she'll get it later.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, so what's it like having two girls? But you just answered
The best, the best. But I have my nephew,
Right.
my sister's kid, so he's my boy that I never had. Although my youngest one, when she was born, the pediatrician said, "I think you got the boy you never thought you'd have in this one." The energy that she has.
Oh, the
she's
young
like, yeah,
one.
they're totally different. I mean, they all
What is your young one's birthday? What is she? I mean, we're going to start.
August
August what?
6th.
Oh,
She's a Leo
August
baby.
2nd.
Leo babies.
Oh, no. And
Another
the
one
older
over there, huh?
The older one?
She's a Taurus.
Oh, so the Leo got the Taurus
To do it.
Yeah.
The Leo gets the Taurus and the Aquarian to do everything.
Oh,
And I'm
my
like,
goodness.
I don't know. You just
Yeah.
get away with it.
Yeah.
Little
She's
boss.
also the musician and she's extraordinarily talented. Both of them are.
Yeah.
They're both off the charts with what they're doing and
Yeah.
their work and
Right.
but the younger one is like in her room playing guitar and, you know,
Now,
ready to.
now that you brought it up, they're playing. Do they both play instruments or they both sing?
They both play, they both sing, but the younger one, that's what she wants to do.
Yeah.
Is she starting a band or is she?
She's just writing herself.
Really?
Yeah, she's got everything. She's got everything.
Wow.
More than I ever did, more than, and you know, even her dad, like she's got it all.
She's got it.
This kid's got it.
What does she think of your previous work? What does she think of you?
I'm super fortunate because I've got two girls that are really they're such musicians. They don't see it as fans. Like my mom did something that I should be a fan of. They see the work and the musicianship, and they know how hard it is to do that. They know how hard it is to perform and what it takes
Right.
to have a voice, how to use it, how to write a song. So I'm super fortunate that these girls see me as someone to not necessarily look up to, although I pat myself on the back a little bit. They do look up to me. You know, they look to me for guidance. You know, it's amazing to have your kids say, "Mom, will you listen to this and tell me, you know, does the third bar work?"
Right.
And
That's
then I
great.
can say, "Well, you may want to look, you know, check this out, see if this works," and then and then go, "That's great. Okay, yeah, thanks." As opposed to never having your kids say, "What do you think?"
Right.
or "Can you do this with me?" or "Would you mind?" or "I can't wait to come to your show. I'm so excited to see everybody. It's not just you. I'm so excited to see the whole show and everybody in the band." I mean, they've got their auntie too, Auntie Wendy and Auntie Lisa.
Of course.
They've just
Gosh,
been
could you
brought up
imagine?
in all
These are
of
my
it.
aunties.
Right. And so when we have rehearsals, all the kids, particularly mine, are all on the instruments while we're sort of like on stage or doing whatever. They're tinkering around and we just let them do.
Yeah.
And they always have. So I'm really lucky. I've got girls that are like, you know, like certain things that I've done and they'll actually play it.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, you can hear them up in the room and
Yeah.
you're like, "Oh my God, I can't believe they're actually playing it."
Yeah.
So great. Oh my
You're like,
God.
"That's great," and they don't say anything. They're not like, "God, Mom, that was just such a great," you know. They just listen to it as like the music they like.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm super fortunate. I've got some really extraordinary humans at home.
But that's
You
a
know,
reflection
that's
of
great.
you.
Well, I
That's
love
you.
them deeply, and again, as a mom, and my role is to give them like at a certain point, I'm not going to be here. It sure would be great, like when you do think of me, that you'll think of me fondly,
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
and you
Yes.
just don't want to be that gal that like, oh God, I should have done it this way, or I was such an asshole when I was, I won't. No,
That's great.
it's harder sometimes to really think about the right thing to say at the moment, but it's always the best thing to do. Like it may take longer to like put your anger away. Like if one of the kids have pissed you off, like that was a really bad move. Don't get pissed.
Yeah.
Talk about it. Like, okay, so that didn't work. Let's find out why that didn't work. And those are the kind of things that they've come back and like they come to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Or when it's bedtime, they'll come and flop down on my bed and just want to talk and like hang out. And then I have to say, okay, I'm going to bed now.
Yeah.
You can go upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay, love you.
Now-
Bye.
At their age, are they dating? Are they interested?
Yes.
Yes.
That's like gulp. Yes.
Oh, how do
The
you
older
feel?
one has a solid, fantastic girlfriend she loves and adores. And my younger one is got her first boyfriend. And yeah. Wow. Wow. Yeah. They're like two golden retriever puppies.
Man.
They cannot get enough playtime.
See, oh, that's I don't know. I'm already nervous for her. That's why God didn't give me any kids.
It's
'cause
it's incredible. It's incredible. But of course,
Oh.
I've taken on this kid as one of my own so that I can watch them.
I see.
So I've worked my way into sort of like, well, if you're going to have a boyfriend, he's going to be around a lot so I can watch.
Yeah.
That's
Like
nice.
invite him over, keep him here. And I have a great relationship with this kid who's the sweetest. And they're sweet together and they're just figuring it out. And I mean, how else is she supposed to figure it out?
Right.
You know?
Exactly.
She got to figure it out.
You're right.
But see, that's the mentality, the intelligence that she's got to figure it out. Whereas when I was being, growing up, puberty, having the Latino father, I couldn't even wear makeup. I couldn't even pluck my eyebrows. I couldn't shave my legs,
Right.
and forget about having a boyfriend. I mean, I couldn't have a boyfriend with hairy legs, right? Thanks, Dad. But your way of expressing yourself and giving them, the option to make the decisions themselves, that's why they're so, free and independent and open because of the way you speak with them. You're not going to shut them down and like.
Well, the opposite
"No,
is
you
that
can't
then they
date."
end up talking like that. They're like,
Yes.
well, my father didn't let me do those things.
Yeah,
And
so then
I had to struggle to find my way
Right.
later on. I don't really want them to struggle and find their way because I know what the answer is.
Right.
Just like, okay, this, I even say it to them as sisters, like, this is the relationship.
Right.
You figure life out between the two of you.
Yeah.
I did that with my twin sister, Wendy. We figured out how to be in the world by being with each other.
Yeah.
And we have each other to this day. We don't have parents anymore, grandparents. There's no family members. It's just me and Wendy. And at some point, that will be that way for Indy and Elle.
Yeah.
Figure it out. Like when things are shitty and you guys are really pissed at each other, talk about it. Like just get through it.
That's
Like
beautiful.
it's all, you guys can do this. But don't resent and hate each other for shit just because you're too lazy to figure out how to make it better. Don't be
Right.
lazy. So that's it. Don't be lazy.
Right.
Don't connect to this with this and be lazy. And that's the key to all of it. Just don't be lazy. Showing up, suiting up, showing up for your kids is doing that.
Yeah.
Is like,
Right.
don't let things slide by, they'll figure it out. on their own. Just say
Psychology
something.
book for
Giving it
childcare.
to us.
I'm serious. You
I
should
love
write
it.
a book, your personal experience. Seriously, I'm not, because the way that you speak is not the way that, the parents speak to their kids today. Even today.
Which is weird because there's so many parents that are my age. We all grew up the same. Like, where did you lose the
Right.
plot?
Yeah.
Yep.
Like, what happened? Like, we were all partying together. We were all in the same groups together. Like, why is that so anathema? Like, you don't talk to your kids. Like, you don't.
And then they wonder why there's like these major issues, right?
Yeah.
Because there's no communication, parents and the
Like, I
kids.
mean,
and-
it's just really, it's like really clear cut stuff. Like, okay, now you're with your person that you care about and you're having this relationship.
Yeah.
I know things are getting intimate.
Yeah.
We have to talk about that.
Yeah.
right,
Like, you can't get pregnant.
right.
Yeah.
Like, I know the other things are going to happen, but we need to deal with the fact that you just can't get pregnant because I don't want you going through that.
Right.
Right.
So you had to have these conversations
Oh,
with your
yeah.
girls and
Yeah.
Yeah. And of course, they were like, got it sorted, Mom, but it, like,
still.
you think you have it sorted, but you need to know that, like, I'm thinking about this stuff for
Right.
you. Like, we need to make sure you're cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, you've got that. And then they're like, so they can come to me and say, Mom, you said that we were going to talk about maybe getting me something to make sure that that doesn't happen.
Right.
Are we going to do that? And I'm like, yes, we are.
Right.
Not like, no, you're not. How can you're not ready for that. You're like, yeah, she's ready for that.
Yeah.
I was your age once.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was your age once, and I know what I was doing when I was
And,
your age.
and she
Yep.
was, and she waited, she could have
Yeah.
done it earlier and she didn't. She, both of them, they're both really, they're just sort of like emotionally sober kids. Like they just sort of have an intelligence about them.
That's great.
I'm
God.
completely blessed with that.
You are
That's
blessed,
great.
boy. That's
great.
Yeah.
wow. That's
That's great.
awesome.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
I'm sure they must be so proud of you though when they see your work. And have they seen like your? Let's say, for example, I was looking at. I know we're going ahead of time. Have they seen the Parade Live concert movie?
No,
No,
Really?
really,
they've not seen it. I've never seen it.
really.
No, I've only seen the
The video.
birthday,
Yeah, the birthday.
Okay,
but I've not seen the whole show.
okay.
I remember it really well, but like, no, I haven't shown them all that.
Okay.
They may have seen it
And not said anything.
and just not said anything to me
Oh my,
because that's possible. Because they're both,
that's adorable.
they'll find things online of Auntie Wendy, and
Right.
Yeah.
next thing I
Right.
know, I'm hearing India play it upstairs in the room, or call Auntie Wendy and say, "Hey, what were you playing on the blank blank blank?" And I saw it on the, but they wouldn't say it.
Yeah.
Right.
They just wouldn't. So I don't know. I don't know if they've seen that.
That's interesting.
They are they proud? Like, do they don't really talk about the work like that. They just sort of take it, I guess, for granted that like every day is a creative opportunity in the house.
Right.
We're always doing, one of us are always doing something. Like the house is very creative,
Yeah.
which is unusual in itself, but that's the language we speak. We
Yeah.
don't speak in math and,
Yeah.
You're artists.
Yeah.
we're all.
But you came from that because your
We did.
parents.
My
your
father-
was that
Right.
way.
And my mother was self-taught. My mom was a
Yeah.
bass player before she could do anything.
Yeah.
Like she was a nurse and a bass player.
No.
Self-taught.
Wow.
Self-taught.
So tell us
and that was
about
the connection with
yeah.
the Melvoins and the Colemans.
And the Melvoins and the
whole-
Colemans, my father and the Coleman's father, Lisa's dad, were session players. And they were in the wrecking crew, the West Coast wrecking crew.
Oh,
So,
man.
and our fathers, particularly, well, I can't say that for Gary, but I think for my dad, I know for a fact that he was the most valuable session player. They had these things in the 70s and 80s, the MVP awards for session work. My father's discography is, you can't imagine, from everybody you can imagine, my father's playing keyboards on. He's like Good Vibrations. He's playing the B3
I read that.
to John Lennon's record that Phil Spector did. My father played the piano on that. To Peggy Lee's stuff. To
Oh,
Barbara
man.
Streisand. To it just goes on and on. Of Helen Reddy. To like my father did all the arrangements for the Partridge Family. Like he's like my dad.
No, you know what? That's right because I saw his name on the credits as I
Yes,
watched
That's my dad.
the reruns. I was like, oh, that's fantastic. Melvoin, I know him.
Yes. So dad was just, and 3-4 sessions a day
Yeah.
when there was that in the 70s and 80s.
Yeah.
Damn.
Session work was like, you got called
Yeah.
by your agent. Usually Arlene's was the local sort of, what are they like? like what was like one ringy dingy, two ringy dingy, what are they? Operators.
the
Right.
operators.
So, but they had these things. Arlene's was like for musicians, and they would call like say, Mike, you've got another session at such and such, such and such, and so he had 3 or 4 sessions a day.
Yeah.
And so did Gary.
Yeah.
But we all grew up together. So it was the Melvoins and the Colemans, kind of like the Brady Bunch, but we were always playing music together. Colemans, Melvoins, either at their house or at our house, in the basement, in the studio, playing.
Yeah.
And what city was this?
L.A.
In L.A. Whereabouts in L.A.?
Hollywood was Holly Ridge, where we were right across the street from that castle that they did ice cream castles.
That's so funny.
That's
We were just
where
talking about
Lisa.
that.
That's where
Yeah.
we grew up there, right on that street on Holly Ridge. On the opposite side of the road was this Spanish house that the Colemans grew up in,
Okay.
and we grew up in Sherman Oaks on Valley Vista.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were
Man.
back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
So when did you and Wendy start doing? Because you two started doing music professionally very, very early. Like in the studio.
My dad had us singing sessions when we were 8. Wow. Commercials. Dog food commercial was our first one.
There's a photo
Wow.
of the two
This
of them in the booth.
recipe, because my dog's really special to me. That was the first one.
Adorable.
Oh, wow.
There's a
Yeah.
photo she's going to have to provide
I
of the
think I've
two of
seen
them
it, yeah,
in the
the studio.
booth.
Yeah.
And you're
Oh.
both
That's a
doing
trick.
this. And the fate, oh man. I was like,
Yes.
I
Yes.
couldn't stop staring at that.
Wow.
That
We
was,
actually, the second gig was singing Sunshine Superman on Minnie Riperton's record. Sunshine came softly through my window today. And we sang all the background. She had the kids come in. And so Wendy and I did this it was our big session to sing the backgrounds on that track, on Minnie Riperton's track.
Can you imagine that?
That's
Was
great.
that was Joe Bett, right? Minnie Riperton was on Joe Bett. I remember.
Yes.
Yes. I remember. Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
And then my dad did produce some other things, and he had us come in like a Steve Eaton record, which was kind of crazy. I can't even remember what that was, but that was like 3rd grade. So we started really early. And then I sort of, there became like family stuff, like the divorce and like who was going to go where and what was going to happen. Wendy and I and Jonathan stayed with my mom, and Dad did his thing for a while, but Wendy really got heavily into her guitar, and she was deep. And I went back into my ballet because that's what I wanted to be, was a ballet dancer.
That's where those legs come from.
That was ballet. Well,
I always talk about your legs to everybody.
oh my God.
Gams.
She does.
Yeah.
I wish I had those gams, but I don't anymore. But
You do.
So we get back to the Colemans and the Melvoins.
Yeah.
So Wendy and I were really young when the Colemans and the Melvoins did an album together, and it was recorded with A&M, and it was called the Waldorf Salad.
No, that's adorable.
Herb Alpert signed us, and
yeah.
and Jerry
Moss, right.
signed this band. My father was producer with Gary, but Wendy and I were too young to be in the band. So it was Cole, Lisa, Debbie. It was Cole and Debbie and David and Jonathan and Deirdre Howard, who is a flautist and also a dancer. Her mother spotted me in one of the sessions on the floor in front of the monitors, playing with my feet and pointing my feet. I was 7, and she was like, "Does that kid dance? Does that kid dance?" to my mom, and she was like, "No, she doesn't." She goes, "We got to get this kid dancing." So she took me, and I went into full we are going to groom this child, because I was hypermobile. I had these arches for days in my feet, and we've got to problem was that I couldn't remember how to. Anyway, I don't even go there. But I had vertigo. And I've always had vestibular things. I spin out really easy, and so spinning was really difficult. I could get 2 pirouettes in, and then it would be like, oh my God, something's wrong.
Okay.
So, but I plowed through it. And then by the time I was about 19, I got back into singing. I got my first gig, got out of high school when I was 18. And
What school was this?
I graduated out of New England Public High School, way up in the North Country of New England, called North Conway, New Hampshire.
Okay.
Way up in the middle of nowhere. It's near towards actually like closer to the Maine border. Graduated, left there, got a job, came back out to California with my sister and lived with the Colemans. The kids all moved in together. And I got a job working for David Geffen as his secretary to his secretary. I was like, the David Geffen Company, when you called Geffen Records or the Geffen Film Company, is like, David Geffen Company.
Oh, man.
So I answered the phones, but that didn't take long. And then I got this, within a year of that, I'd met Prince by that time already, but I got my first real gig singing with Quincy Jones.
Okay.
My father had gotten a call from the vocal contractor who worked with Quincy a lot, Tom Baylor. And they were doing a casting call for this new vocal group. And it was Saida Garrett. It was Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant. Oh my gosh. I'm forgetting these. I'm so sorry if I forget your names. It's been a while. But the group was going to be sort of like his version of a Manhattan Transfer kind of thing, an a cappella group. And I auditioned for the group. I sent him this demo that I did, a cover of Until You Come Back to Me, Aretha Franklin. Oh. And I sent this tape into Quincy and to Tom, and they were like, you're in. So we got this gig. And within, I want to say, 7 months and doing all the session work, at this time, Prince was coming into town a lot just before recording Purple Rain. And he was staying at our house. And this one particular day, Wendy and Lisa were like, play Prince the track that you got the Quincy gig with. And I was like, let's not. Let's really not do that.
Do you remember how old you were?
Yeah, I was just 19.
Oh, man.
I was 19.
Could you imagine Prince laying his eyes on her at 19?
Well, that was the beginning of it.
Wow.
So I played him the track, and it was the sweetest thing ever. So we had this very teeny, tiny little house on Willoughby between Gardner and Sierra Bonita.
I love it there.
Teeny, tiny, tiny place.
You're by Melrose.
Exactly, just a couple blocks from Melrose. So my bedroom was off the living room, and it had saloon doors. So there was no privacy at all. Wendy and Lisa had saloon doors right off the living room. So there's 2 bedrooms, tiny little teeny bedrooms, and then the kitchen. And we had him sleep on the couch.
Okay.
And we had 2 cats.
Okay.
Big, giant Persian cats jumping all over him in the middle of the night. But he'd heard the track, and he was at the kitchen table, and I was hiding in my bedroom, which was not really hiding because, as you know, there's saloon doors and like there's no hiding. So I heard them, and I hear, "Aww," I hear, "Aww," and I'm like, "Oh my God, can I die right now?" And I'm sort of hiding myself.
Oh my God!
And I walk out, and the girls are like, "It's great. What are you talking about?" I was like, I'm just sort of white with kind of like ghost shame. Like I had no idea, like, what am I doing here? Why would I play this? Like what's the purpose? Really? Like, why did I do this? Why did I say yes? But he said, it's really good. He said, do you want to sing with our family? Oh. And he called it Our Family. Do you want to sing with our family? And I said, and I looked at the girls. I said, what? And he said, yeah, why don't you do that? Won't it be so much more fun? He said something like, it's going to be so much more fun. Just something he'd say. We have so much more fun where we are. He always used we. And I was like, yeah, I do. And then within a week, Prince was knocking on my door, and he was like, let's go. We went to my attorney to get out of my contract. Prince came with me to talk to my attorney to say, like, we're going to get out of this thing with Quincy, but you need to talk to Quincy. And Prince was super, like, he was like, do it the right way, which was really kind of unusual for him because in the years later, that's not something he would have done at all. But he came with me and made sure it was done right and that it was sweet and done because it was Quincy. And so I ended up calling Quincy that night after we'd gone to the attorney and had this long conversation with him. And he said, hear me say perfectly, he was like, baby, if you cannot sleep at night, you need to go do this. And he said, frankly, I'd do the same thing.
Wow.
He said, he's the hottest thing there is right now. Go.
Wow.
And I was like, are you sure about this? And he was like, aren't you?
That's
and I was
great.
Like, yeah. And that was the beginning. Like at that point, something was shifting, but then little did I know at that point that it was not only, it was getting sort of very intimate between us shortly thereafter that.
Wow.
But that's how he introduced my singing to him. Because before that, Wendy had already gotten the gig with him.
Right.
So he was coming in and out of LA a lot, and we were spending more time. He was coming around a lot, and then he would spend the night at our house and sleep on the couch, and the cats would jump all over him in the middle of the night. You'd hear, Lisa, can you come get the cat? And we were just like, nobody would get up.
I can hear that voice too. I could just hear that.
Can you come get the cat? They're like, and there's saloon doors, like the cats, whatever. So it was like.
That's too funny.
And if the bathroom had saloon doors, there were no proper doors in the entire place. So I can't even remember, like, did anyone have, like, we'll leave and go into the opposite side of the house if you need to use the bathroom.
Yeah, you have no privacy.
There was no privacy. No.
That is just too funny.
Yeah.
What a great story.
So you hadn't even gone to Minneapolis yet, right? Had you even gone to Minneapolis yet?
No, I hadn't. So,
So you hadn't had that encounter with Vanity yet?
No, my first encounter with Vanity was when I was working for David Geffen. We had the Christmas party. This was the Christmas before I met him, and this was shortly before before he started coming around.
So she met Denise.
So you met her first.
I met Denise and Prince first. So it was a Christmas party, and I was working for David Geffen. It was the Christmas party, and I went and got myself a dress. The most ridiculous outfit. Whatever. I mean, it was, super fat, chubby cheeked kid, whatever. I was going to be 19 that January, so I was 18. And so he was in the sort of mezzanine, if not the sort of like the entranceway to the Le Dome. Do you remember Le Dome?
Of course. Okay. Oh, God.
So he was standing, right. So he was standing against the wall, and she was standing behind him.
Oh, wow.
And they were together. And I saw them from a distance, and I went into the hallway to pick up the phone to call Wendy and Lisa and said, Prince is here right now. Should I say something to him? He's with Vanity. And they were like, of course, go say hello to him. He's going to think it's weird because you look so much like Wendy. He may not really know how to, just do it. Just do it.
Right.
So I said, okay. So I was like, okay, go for it. Go say hello. So as I'm walking towards him and looking at him, he's giving me that sort of like that look.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like.
Right.
Like, I know you?
Right. Confused.
Oh, that's classic. I would love to have been the fly on the wall.
And I said, hi, I'm Susannah. I'm Wendy's twin sister. And I just wanted to introduce myself and say hello. Well, before he could say, nice to meet you, she comes around and comes up to me, and she puts her hands on my face. And she says, oh, look at how cute and chubby your cheeks are. Yeah. I was like, yeah, they are.
Oh, my. Little did she know, that the future.
And I was like, nice to meet you. And I was like, I just wanted to say hello. And I put my hand out to shake his hand. And I walked away, called the girls, and I was like, you cannot believe what Vanity just did. And she was like, oh, God. So that it started sort of like he started coming out more around that, and then they were starting to record Purple Rain soundtrack because that was before you guys went even into rehearsals, which were that summer, that next summer, because everything was recorded before that.
Yeah.
So he started sort of like coming in and out, and that was the whole thing with that happened. The Quincy thing happened within this period of time where
Right.
he started coming in and out, and that he'd asked me and the girls to come down to the studio to do some overdubs, particularly Wendy and Lisa to do some overdubs. But bring Susannah with you. You guys can sing background on Baby I'm a Star.
Mm-hmm.
So that was the first thing I did.
Wow.
That's,
That's the first thing.
can you imagine?
And then went to visit a few more times, and then that happened with the Quincy thing, because I was already working with Quincy, and so I was visiting, and that was my job. Like I was like, okay, I'm finished working for anybody else. I'm doing my music now and whatever.
Right.
I may be mixing up a little bit because it's been such a long time,
Yeah.
but so all I really can remember is that at this one particular time, I ended up going to Sunset Sound, Studio 3, and the girls had just finished doing something. I went into that bathroom. Everything looks exactly the same as it did even back. They haven't changed a thing. So I'm in the bathroom. None of you have seen this bathroom before, but if you did, it's never changed.
Yeah.
So went into the bathroom, and I hear click, 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 click.
Oh, yeah.
Click, click.
Yep.
Open the door. He pushes me into the into the kitchen. He pushes me. It's postman's always doing tries. He pushes me into the bathroom, closes the door, and starts kissing me all over my neck and my face.
Oh.
All over. I can't stop thinking about you. I can't stop thinking about you. He was like, I don't know how you feel. I can't stop thinking about you.
Oh.
And then he stopped and walked away. And I was left there like
What? Like, oh my
that. I was
Gosh.
just like, oh. And then
That's beautiful.
it got sort of more. And he came over to the house a lot more. So yes, he started coming back more because he really, I mean, it was like Wendy and Lisa were really super powerful people to him, you
Yes.
know? And then all of a sudden there was another one.
Right.
And the
Right.
other one wasn't with anybody.
Right.
So I'm sure on some level, he may have even thought, well, you and Wendy have each other. Now maybe Susannah. And like, this is kind of an interesting, because,
Dynamic.
you know, right. I mean,
Yeah.
just whatever, however it appeared to him, it was romantic and extraordinary, and it filled him full of excitement, and it's just what the doctor ordered at the
Right.
time. And so, and he was beautiful. I mean, for a 19-year-old girl to be wooed like this is, I was like, this is kind of great, you know?
Yeah.
It's so funny. So then all of a sudden they start going in May, they go into rehearsals for Purple Rain. They go into at the warehouses. And I go to visit in June. And that's when I see Vanity. I walk into rehearsal and Vanity's walking out. So it's the same situation. She's the first person I see. She's walking out.
Oh boy.
She looks at me and she says, have a good time. You'll never see me again.
Wow.
And that was it. She was out the door. That was the last day. She was never to be seen again.
Wow.
She walked out of rehearsals that day. And the next thing I knew, I see Prince walk through and Bobby Z. And Bobby's like, looks at Prince. Prince looks at me and he comes walking up to me. He goes, don't listen to a word she said.
Wow.
Because he didn't know what she said, but all he wanted to say was, don't listen to a word she said.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm just coming to visit my sisters.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, I'm just here to hang out for a minute. And so I went and sat on an anvil case, watched the rest of the day go by. And then I left, and then coming back out in August. And that August was when they had the First Avenue show where he introduced The Revolution and Wendy. And he played
Right.
Purple Rain for the first time.
That's filmed, right?
Yeah.
That's filmed. That's a major moment.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I go to this show. And it's fantastic. And he invites only a certain few of us to his house after that show. Roy was one of them. Roy and Brenda. Me, Wendy, Lisa, Bobby. Bobby wasn't even with Vicky at the time. Not yet.
Oh, wow.
I think they were just beginning to date. It was a very small group of people. And we went to the house. Roy made a lemon cake.
Roy made
a lemon cake. And we all ate the cake. And the following day was Des Dickerson's birthday party.
Oh, that August then. Yeah.
It was Des's birthday. And I was out there. We all went to Des's birthday. And David Coleman was with me. We had flown out to see Lisa and Wendy at the time. David is Lisa's brother. And we flew out together. And we went to the party the next day. And David and I are sitting on the couch. We're talking to Wendy and Lisa. And Prince comes walking in. This is Des's house. And he comes in and he jumps on the couch and he sits right next to me. And he whispers in my ear, "Did you dream about me last night?"
Oh, see? That's those. See, I love listening to this. I mean,
And I said,
the moves, the lines.
so weirdly
man.
enough, I had. I had.
Oh,
Because I was sleeping with David. Not sleeping with him, but David and I were sharing a bed. And in the middle of the night, I opened my eyes and I saw David's curly black hair. And I thought it was Prince in bed.
She was like, yes.
And so when he said, "Did you dream about me last night?" I looked at him and I went, "Yes." Yes, I did. He said, "Do you want to go outside and go for a walk?"
Oh.
And I said, "Yes." So we went for a walk, went outside, and within 3 seconds, he had me on the grass.
Oh my God.
Had me on the grass. He was like on top of me, he was kissing my face again. "I can't stop thinking about you."
Oh my gosh. That's so romantic.
So it was just-
I love hearing this.
Look, I was falling deeper and deeper. I knew no one else. I knew there were no other women. I knew there were no other nothing. I mean, no one was talking about like, "Oh, you can't do that because so-and-so's around or so-and-so." It's like, I'm like, well, what do I know? Like, I knew nothing. I was just like, this man is making advances in such a beautiful way. And I'm falling like, wow, this is kind of, wow.
Man.
So that turned, and that just ended up turning into like a very deep sort of thing for a long time, The following day, I was to fly back to Los Angeles, and we stopped at Prince's house on Kiowa Trail, and he wanted to play Lisa Wonderful Ass. He had just finished it.
Oh, wow.
And he looked at me and he goes, "You can't hear this." And I said, "What do you mean I can't hear this?" "It's too nasty." And I was like, and he said, "It's about somebody anyway." And I was like, and then so Lisa went in and they walked out and he was like, "You can come in now." He was in the studio.
Oh,
And
my
then
gosh.
he was like, "Come here for a second." And he walked me outside. He had this studio that was right overlooking sort of like a backyard full of brush. And you'd walk down the brush and some trees and you'd see the lake, which was kind of funky. There was no lakefront. It's not like you could go like, "We're going to go swimming now."
Right.
It was not. It was just not where you'd want to go swimming. But there was the lake. But he was like, "Let's walk out here." And he was like, "I want you to stay. Can you stay?" And I was like, "I can't. I got a job. Like I work. I can't do that." And he got pissed. He got pissed. And he was like, "You'd rather go than stay here?" And I was like,
Oh.
"I don't have a choice. I don't. I have to go. I have bills to pay." And so that, of course, that got him a little riled.
Yeah.
And I ended up back in Los Angeles doing my own thing. And of course, then it started coming around more. I was getting flowers sent to my house every day for 2 years. like at some point, our teeny little house looked like a funeral parlor. Like there were so many flowers. There'd be dead ones. There'd be like ones that were like growing mold, and there'd be like these beautiful, beautiful flowers. He'd come to the house one day and came into my bedroom, and he sat on my bed, and my bed had a huge dip in the center of the mattress, huge, and he sort of leaned into it.
You fell in.
He was like, "You sleep on this thing?" And I was like, "Well, I only sleep on one side. It's just me and my cat."
Right.
And the next day, there was a new mattress at my door.
Oh.
You know, I was like, "Oh, this boy just knows what to do."
Man.
You know, but you know, it got more and more, and then working more, and I mean, there's a lot, but like that's kind of how it starts.
Yeah.
You know,
That is
Kinda
so
starts that way.
romantic.
yeah,
Wow. So he was that romantic.
he was that romantic.
That is so
Yeah.
sweet.
That's great.
That's so beautiful.
He was more into the romance than even the physicality of it.
Yeah.
You know, he was really about the how to
charm,
create
and
an
seduce.
atmosphere that is, you know, fantasy.
Yeah.
You know, it's
Yeah.
where it's the fantasy. It doesn't go further.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't go into anything physical.
Yeah.
But it's the the play.
The
He
art,
was really good about play.
the
Yeah.
art of seduction.
Yeah, he could do that well, and then he couldn't. You know, I mean, there was a time when then it was just like, you know,
Yeah.
who am I seeing here? Like that's not the guy who was.
Right.
You know, there's many sides to this.
Yeah.
He was very complex.
This,
Yes.
This Gemini.
So, but that worked for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, until it didn't.
It didn't. Yeah.
He says, "I have something I want to tell you," and I'm like, "Okay." He's like, "I don't want you to be in the movie." I was like, and I thought, okay, what? You know, what are you doing here? What's happening now? I don't want you to be in the movie. I want you to be my wife.
You want official Apollonia merchandise? Visit ApolloniaKotero.store and ApolloniaKotero.com.